My name is Frederica, and together with my colleagues Weihang and Niels, we are representing European Commission. In our presentation, we are going to introduce Common European Sales Law. Comparison to UK will be done by Weihang, and comparison to Germany will be done by Niels. By now, buying and selling of goods in EU is governed by national contract laws. Differences in system make the trade harder and more costly for the parties. These differences dissuade many companies from entering into cross-border trade. This has the effect that consumers are left with the less choices when buying products and enjoy less legal certainty. To solve this situation, we propose Common European Sales Law, which would remove all the obstacles to the cross-border trade. It would create a second national regime, which means that national legal system will remain untouched. Um, Party autonomy will be respected as well, and it excludes the mandatory rules of the national systems. In our presentation, we will deal with chapters 1 and 2. Chapter 1 contains general principles of CESL, such as freedom of contract, reasonableness, and good faith and fair dealing, which will be dealt by my colleagues. Chapter 2 contains pre-contractual information, such as duty to provide information about the price, costs, and charges.
So why do we need CESO in UK? There are some problems now within the internal market trade of the UK between UK and CESO. Firstly, UK consumers are not fully benefiting from the EU single market. Legal barriers mean businesses sometimes refuse to sell to consumers living abroad. Around 3 million European consumers are affected each year in the EU, and nearly 310,000 of them are in the UK. Second, UK companies are not taking advantage of the full potential of the EU single market. For instance, only 49% of British businesses said they would use a single EU contract law for cross border sales to consumers, while the average percentage in EU was 71%. We should always notice that there are differences existing between provisions in CESO and the corresponding part in UK domestic contract law. For example, in respect of general principles, Article 2 CESO was felt to be a different provision, as the concept of good faith and fair dealings was largely unknown in English law. However, there will be several instances where the result of preventing a party in breach from relying on a right remedy or defense can be achieved by means of specific rules to be found in jurisprudence, for example, under the doctrine of estoppel by representation. With regard to the pre-contractual information part, CESO always, not always, but usually ensures a higher level of protection compared to UK domestic law. In fact, the different concept with regard to the good faith is one of the important reasons why UK government doubts that CESO will have a promising future. Apart from legal uncertainty, the government believes that contract law is not the main barrier to trade. Other factors such as tax, delivery, language are felt to be more problematic. Furthermore, the introduction of the second regime of contract law would probably create confusion for both consumers and businesses. CESO may also have considerable cost implications for its initial implementation and for its continued application. However, we will prove that those problems are false, or we don't need to fear about those problems in our further discussion.
For Germany, the reason why we should introduce the CESL as an additional option is the same as it was for the UK. The the cessor will benefit both the consumers and the companies. Today, German consumers who do their shopping online only 6% of the consumers buy their products from other member states of the European Union. Most of them actually just buy online from German producers. Also, the companies are reluctant to trade with other companies in the EU, and 59% of German retailers have stated that one of the reasons why they are held back from such a trade is our concerns concerning contract law obstacles. So the problems identified in the previous slides are the reasons why the cessor should be introduced. And it can be seen now that, especially when looking at chapters 1 and 2, the differences between the provisions in the cessor and the German contract law, the national German contract law, aren't actually that big. Concerning chapter 1 on the introductory provisions of the cessor, the general principles, such as freedom to contract, good faith, they can also be found in the BGB, and especially good faith, which might be a controversial article in other systems, is already ingrained in the German system under Article 242 of the BGB. And also the other provisions can be found in the BGB, and therefore they will not come as a major surprise to the German legal system. Concerning chapter 2, on the pre-contractual information that has to be provided by one contracting party to the other, it has to be admitted that the provisions in the cessor are more specific than the provisions in the German Civil Code. They deal with specific circumstances and also address the issue of electronic communication. However, the idea that such information will have to be provided can also be found in the German Civil Code, namely in Article 311. So while the cessor is more specific, it is also here can be seen that the two systems are not fundamentally different. And overall, especially if you just look at the first two chapters, the two legal systems are very much compatible. In conclusion, the cessor provides for an optional system which is consumer-friendly, economy-friendly, and a simple system of law, which will provide both consumers and companies in Europe with the certainty that they can choose a system which applies to their contract and with nothing else. Thank you.